Hello and welcome. I'm Melinda Kinwami. Tonight, operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission arrest Lebanese with over $2 million cash at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Police send reinforcement to Northwest following killings of over 100 bandits terrorizing Zamfara state. Begin investigation into reports of a new armed group in Sokoto state. Senate leader and APC member from Yobe State, Ahmed Lawan, dismisses fears of electoral crisis following delay in the signing of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill into law by President Buhari. An annual G20 summit kicks off in Argentina amid political tension between Russia and Ukraine and trade crisis between the United States and China.
On business news tonight, Nigeria Purchasers Manager Index expands for the 20th time in November, with growth across the manufacturing and non-manufacturing sectors.
And on sports news tonight, the Confederation of African Football CAF strips Cameroon of its hosting rights for the 2019 African Cup of Nations.
And from Abuja, federal government representatives and ASU leadership in closed-door meeting in Abuja to resolve the ongoing strike by university lecturers in the country.
We begin tonight with the arrest of a Lebanese national by operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, for alleged money laundering. Mr. Abbas Lakis was nabbed following intelligence reports that he had flown in from Kano Airport aboard an Egypt airline, allegedly carrying undeclared huge amounts of foreign currency. A search of his luggage allegedly uncovered over $2.1 million, over 160,000 pounds and over 140,000 euros. He's also said to have been carrying other currencies in various amounts, including the Saudi Riyal, Swiss francs, Middle Eastern lira, Lebanese pounds and Chinese yuan. According to the EFCC, the suspect will be charged to court as soon as investigations are concluded. In the meantime, the police joint investigation force in Zamfara state has confirmed the killing of over 104 bandits and destruction of 50 hideouts across the state. According to the command's public relations officer, Mohammed Shehu, over 500 cattle and 79 sheep were recovered in the operation. He says the Inspector General of Police has deployed the DIG operations to Zamfara State, along with hundreds of police special forces personnel supported by surveillance helicopters. The force public relations officer, Jimoh Moshood, has also confirmed the death of a police officer in the operation. He mentioned this while parading some suspected bandits who allegedly participated in various crimes across Zamfara State in the last 4 months.
Joint Intervention Force on 29 November 2018 killed 104 bandits in a shootout between the police joint team and the bandits. Destroyed 50 bandit hideouts in 3 camps, recovered over 500 cattle and 79 sheep in Savannah State. In the process of the ambush on the police personnel by the bandits, before the attack was repelled by the police team, we lost 1 police personnel in the process and 12 others who are seriously injured. They are currently receiving treatment in hospital in Zamfara State. Consequent upon this, the Inspector General of Police had deployed the DIG operation, who had already arrived in Zamfara State with 100 police special forces personnel, counter-terrorism unit, and additional police mobile force. It is important for people to know that while the operation was on the ground, numbers of suspects have been arrested. I'll read the names to you one after the other. These suspects were arrested in connection with the armed banditry in Zamfara State. First, we have Abdurrahuf Yusuf, who is 45 years old, is a gang leader, and he was trained in Libya as a guerrilla fighter.
And staying with security matters, the police in Sokoto State are investigating the alleged emergence of a new terrorist group in the Tangaza local government area of the state. Online media reports indicate that the unnamed alleged terrorists have been operating freely in the area bordering Niger Republic and enforcing strange laws among the residents. According to the reports, members of the group believed to be from neighboring Niger allegedly carry sophisticated arms and have been extorting the residents. The alleged terror group is also reported to be preaching a brand of Islam, recruiting local youths and molesting residents who disagree with them. When our correspondent contacted the police, the Sokoto Command spokesperson, Cordelia Wanwe, says the existence of such group has not yet been confirmed. She says that the Commissioner of Police has dispatched a team to the area to investigate the report. In the meantime, the Force Public Relations Officer, Jimoh Moshood, has explained that people sighted between Sokoto and Niger border are not bandits, but herders from Mali. According to the police spokesperson, they usually migrate annually with their flock and families to border areas in search of water for their livestock. He said the herders did not enter Nigerian territory before they went back on Tuesday, and there have been no reports of attacks on any person or damages to farm crops. From security, let's talk politics now. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, may have to fall back on the 2010 Electoral Act as amended in the event that the new electoral bill is not signed by the President. The Senate leader, Ahmed Lawan, who spoke with State House correspondents, says the President has the right to fully scrutinize the document before signing it. He faulted the People's Democratic Party for insisting that President Buhari must sign the Electoral Act, arguing that the document is a National Assembly bill and not the PDP's.
President Muhammadu Buhari has read and objected to certain provisions in many bills that eventually were sent back to the National Assembly to look into and then maybe return them back after further legislative action for him to look at again. Previous government of President Jonathan didn't sign much. They kept all the bills, or most of the bills, sent by the National Assembly. So I want to give kudos to the President for ensuring that he looks at the bills. And it's a sign that he is concerned about every single bill that the National Assembly passes. The electoral bill we are talking about has been sent back twice or thrice. That is to tell you that the President is willing to sign the bill, provided it meets certain conditions that will make our electoral processes better and more sane. So I believe that the President is studying this bill. It's not like immediately we send it back, he will just go and sign. This is a sign that the President is really interested in what we have sent back to him. It is for him and his advisors to read through line by line and see how best the electoral process can be enhanced.
Still talking politics, the Director General of the People's Democratic Party's Campaign Council, Senator Bukola Saraki, says issues about the economy, security and the unity of Nigeria will drive the party's presidential campaign for the 2019 general elections. According to him, the council will not allow its members to engage in smear campaigns, as the PDP campaign for votes will be strictly based on issues. Senator Saraki, who spoke at the PDP Campaign Council headquarters in Abuja, also maintains that one of the crucial questions that Nigerians need to ask is whether their lives have been better in the last 3.5 years.
The issues for this campaign will be driven largely on issues. We emphasize our message is a message on issues. We are not here to exchange words with anybody, but to talk about the issues. What are the issues today? The issues for Nigerians in 2019 is the economy. Is it better now, or is it worse than it was? Are people richer now, or are they poorer than they were in 2015? Are people suffering more from hunger now than they were in 2015? Have there been more job losses now than there were in 2015? Are people safer now than they were in 2015? Are military or security agencies better equipped or motivated to tackle the Boko Haram insurgents and other security challenges than in 2015? Is the country more united now than it was in 2015? Is the infrastructure in the country better now than 2015? Is there less corruption in the country now than in 2015? I think the most important thing is for Nigerians to know at the end of the day, what is the need for me? Because when we go out and vote, it's all about making this country better. And it's not about calling people names. They will do that. But we are going to stay, as they say, if they go low, we will go high. I think that's what they say. We're not going to go low with them, because that is where we believe that it shows the responsibility of this party. This is a party that we believe that, we have come out reformed, we are more focused, and we believe what is important is how is the average Nigerian life going to be better? Who is going to make that better? Who is going to make the country more secured? Who is going to make the country more united? When Nigerians answer those questions, they will choose the person they should vote for.
Now let's talk more about the issue of electoral amendments. And join me live from our studios in the nation's capital, Abuja, is the Executive Director of the Center for Democracy and Development, Idiat Hassan. You're welcome to the news at 10.
Oh, thank you very much.
Now, what do you make of this controversy over the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, especially as it affects the conduct of the 2019 elections?
I think first and foremost, we must reiterate the fact that the Electoral Act belongs to us, Nigerian. It doesn't belong to any political party or any particular administration. And the whole essence is actually to improve the quality of the elections. And this act as it stands will definitely add value to the elections if passed, if assented to by the president. So if I give you a few instances of the provisions of this act that is being debated upon, you find how useful it is. First and foremost, this act cures the defect in the use of the card reader itself. It legislates it into law finally, which means that the kind of situation, the decision of the court in Wike and Dakuku Peter side and Co. will definitely not hold sway this time around in 2019 if there are instances like that, because now it is no longer in the guideline of INEC. It is now a piece of law. Beyond that, we've spoken a lot about vote buying in the last couple of months. This amendment also cures the defect because it raises the bar in terms of penalty that will actually be awarded for anybody who buys votes, who sells votes, from the normal 1 million to 2 million, and also the possibility of those 2 million and 2 years imprisonment. Go again, every time there is an election, there are always this assertion and allegations by political parties claiming that their logos and names are actually omitted from the ballot. This amendment again has made a provision for it by allowing political parties 40 days before the elections to have a view of what the ballot is, check their name, check their logo. By doing that, it reduces post-election litigation on issues like that. And it's even like, it's so laudable in the sense that it makes 5 years imprisonment for anybody who actually procures or utilizes a fake permanent voter's card. So there are lots of positive which will actually improve the conduct of elections and most particularly electoral integrity in the country.
It appears that many do not remember that the Electoral Act was amended in 2015 and signed into law by the former president, Goodluck Jonathan. So where does that come in this debate?
I think, again, it's a build-up on the 2015 amendment. And what we are trying to prevent is a situation like what happened in 2015, where that amendment was signed 2 days on the 26th of March, which was 2 days before the March general elections. And that was an amendment that did not take a holistic approach. While we should continue to argue that it is not for every electoral circle that we must write a new law, which has been the norm here in Nigeria, we should again have a law. A law does not make anything, but it does add value because it's the bedrock. When lawyers say it's the ground norm of the society itself. And even by international best practices, The Electoral Act Amendment, if you take the African Charter on Democracy, Elections and Governance, or even the ECOWAS Protocol, Supplementary Protocols on Good Governance and Democracy, it makes for provision such that this amendment should have come into place at least 6 months before the elections, except there is an agreement amongst all the actors in this game. Now, why we talk more about it is because it affects not just INEC and the management of elections. It does not just affect the political parties, but it also affects all the actors, all the civic groups, for instance, who will be doing civic education. We want to go to the field and be able to tell people that, okay, if you buy and sell vote, you are liable to 2 years imprisonment. You would go for one, you would have to pay 2 million naira. There should be a certainty in law, and we should try to raise the bar with each electoral.
We have to leave it there at this time. That's all we can take. Thank you so much for speaking with us on the News at 10. In part 2, after the break, President Buhari to leave Abuja tomorrow for the 24th session of the Conference of the Parties on Climate Change in Poland. That's in a moment. Join us again.